It is my privilege to present the following program that was inspired by the way American businesses and organizations have responded to the events of September 11th. It's part of a special series produced by Heartbeat of America. Having served in the United States Navy for many years, I fully appreciate the important role small and middle-sized businesses play in the very fabric of our country, and I salute the professionals who lead these companies and thus keep America strong. They are the very backbone of our free enterprise system, and today on this program, you will meet the individuals behind one such organization. I'll be back later in the program to introduce the Keeping America Strong Award. And now, let's learn more about the organization we are honoring today.
Today, the eyes and ears of the 21st century are focused on new developments, new technologies, new emerging companies. We're on the scene to bring it to you as it happens.
We anchor from our new studios in Los Angeles and then go out all over America to get to the heart of the story.
I'm Bert Tenzer.
I'm Bella Shaw.
I'm Doug Llewellyn.
And I'm William Shatner, and this is Heartbeat of America. Since 2001, our television series has been featuring entrepreneurial companies that move our country and our economy forward. Standing by at our studios in Los Angeles is one such company. Welcome. Good to have you with us. All right, let's begin by telling me what you do and who benefits from it.
Well, my name is Gary Avignon. I have a professional psychotherapeutic practice that specializes in the treatment of weight difficulty. And the benefit to the client is that through the psychotherapeutic process, we provide them with the tools and the expertise and the knowledge base that empowers them to actually go out into the world and live a life at a weight of their choosing, completely equipped to deal with whatever they're going to run into out in a treacherous food world today.
Well, you're obviously successful, so what do you attribute your success to? Any particular philosophies or strategies?
Yes, absolutely. It's critical to understand that we don't identify weight loss as success because no client or individual out there who struggles with weight difficulty is interested in weight loss alone. They certainly want to achieve a desired weight, but they want to sustain that for life. They want to do it with a relative degree of ease, and they want to achieve all of this while they live and participate in the real world. So our success is attributed to our willingness to look outside the typical treatment box, the typical conventional diet mentality, and look at what really works and serves the client. Then all of our interventions are tailored to the individual needs of each client.
Now, stay with us. There's more to come.
Thank you, William. Back in our studio in Los Angeles, I'm Doug Llewellyn with our guest. He is the president of his company called MindfulWeigh Psychology and Nutrition, and it's headquartered in Austin, Texas. Gary Avignon is his name. You've already met him. He is a licensed psychotherapist, and he has a master's degree in psychology. He is very knowledgeable on the subject of weight control. And it's very interesting because, as he has put it, the weight loss industry here in America is built on seducing prospective patrons into thinking that weight loss is the cure for weight problems. But as he puts it, nothing could be further from the truth. What do you mean by that?
Well, Doug, if weight loss was the cure for weight problems, we would have an epidemic of thin people today, not fat people. So all you have to do is go into a grocery store, look at the magazine rack. You won't see the ads saying, we're going to teach you how to become someone who's capable of managing your weight over time, someone capable of dealing with the treacherous food currents in the world today, billion-dollar companies trying to sell their products to you when there's no nutritional value. We're going to pitch how much weight you can lose, how fast, and how little effort it's going to require of you.
That's so true. That's so true. Well, what is your approach to helping people shed weight? Obviously, I mean, you have a rich background in this. You've been in this a long time. And obviously, you must be quite successful and with the clients who come to you. What happens? How do you help people?
Well, I help people by first helping them understand that weight loss is not the cure for weight problems. I also help them identify, and this is very fascinating, I help them identify psychological traps that will actually destroy their weight control attempt, that have been perpetrated at the hands of the very experts that they've turned to for help in the diet industry. Let me give you an example. One of the things that patrons of the diet industry learn is that they need to be on a diet, and when they break the diet, when they have a piece of cheesecake at a friend's birthday party or a cake and ice cream at a niece's 3rd birthday, they define that as breaking the diet. Breaking the diet is a failure. People who commit failures are failures, and so if I'm a failure, how can I possibly be successful? You see how the psychology that's been wound up by, ironically, the very experts we turn to for help actually destroys any hope of long-term success. If I'm hopeless, if I'm a failure, why should I even work hard at this?
Okay, I hear that. I buy that. But at the same time, you know, if you do blow it, you can start again the next day and begin all over again, right?
Well, what if we don't even define the cake and ice cream at a niece's 3rd birthday as blowing it?
Okay.
What's wrong? Do you want to live a life where you never celebrate with your friends and family around food?
Of course not.
Who does? Nobody does. And if we step back and look at this from a little larger perspective, we pretty quickly see that there's not a soul out there, Doug, that's overweight or unhealthy because they have cake and ice cream at a niece's 3rd birthday party. That's not the problem.
You're right. What is the problem?
The problem is that we have a hostile and aggressive big food industry today that is aggressively selling products that are not healthy for human physiology, but they taste great. So we're seduced into using these foods that taste great and thinking that they're food. As I say to my clients, just because somebody puts it in a package and calls it food doesn't mean the body agrees. And this sabotages, it basically trips our fat storage switch, much of it, so that our bodies are in fat storage mode. All you have to do is go walk down Ventura Boulevard and you can see.
Well, you know, normally I ask people, what kind of clients do you serve? You know, who comes to you for help? It's pretty obvious. The clients you help, for the most part, are people who want to lose weight. But what's the typical picture? Is it, I mean, men, women, what age range?
My practice is probably 80% women, 20% men. They're people that have been around the block in weight control. They've lost weight on every diet under the sun,
can think of, right?
And gained it back.
Right.
Lost weight and gained it back many times, you know, multiple, 4, 5, 6 times. Exactly.
Right.
And they know that the answer, the solution to their problem does not lie in some simplistic diet. There's more to it than that, and they're looking for what's that. And that's what I provide.
Okay. Well, let's get into this, because this is pretty fascinating. And I don't think many people would take the step to go to a psychologist, a psychotherapist, to get help in losing weight. But yet you do it, and it works. What are the first steps you go through with someone when they come to you?
Well, the first step is a complimentary 20-minute consultation, because people have been sold more snake oil in this arena, people who are looking for weight loss, than any other arena or any other population probably in the history of marketing. So the least I can do is give them 20 minutes of my time in a complimentary fashion. If we have a meeting of the minds, then they go online to my website and they complete a 166-question questionnaire.
Do me a favor, before we get to that questionnaire, in that meeting, you say if we have a meeting of the minds, what happens in that meeting? What you tell them what you're going to do with them for them, right?
They have questions for me about what I have to offer.
Right.
And they're looking for something in particular. Many times they're not looking for what I have to offer. Maybe they're not ready to delve into the psychological issues. Many times people they still think it's not that complicated. All they have to do is find the right diet, and they're not really ready to work that hard. So we don't have a meeting of the minds.
Is the simple answer just to stop eating so much?
It's so much more complicated than that.
Okay.
So much more complicated.
Okay.
If it was that simple, Doug, I've got smart, successful people who've built companies, PhDs at UT, professionals, people who've raised families, built fortunes, accomplished successful things in life.
Right.
Yet,
but they can't keep the weight off.
In this arena, they're getting beat up. They haven't figured out how to master this arena. So that tells me that, and I've stood in front of rooms of people like this, and they're still struggling in this arena. That tells me it's more complex than typically conceptualized.
I guess what I'm looking for is in that initial meeting, what do you tell them? What do you say to them that makes them come to the conclusion that, yes, he can help me and I'm going to go along with this?
Well, first they have to be ready for what I have to offer. But what I talk to them about is the transformational process from someone who's not capable of managing their weight the way they would like to someone who is capable, and what that transformation process looks like. It involves understanding nutrition principles. It involves understanding how their body interfaces with food, because not everybody's the same.
True.
It involves unwinding some of the psychological issues that have been wound up by the very experts they turn to for help, the diet industry. And sometimes it involves dealing with some deep-seated psychological issues from families of origins, childhood wounds, and so forth. So I try to help them understand what it is that I have to offer and how I take them through that transformational process, so when they leave work with me, they're the equivalent of a 3rd or 4th degree black belt. There's not much they're going to encounter out there around weight control and nutrition that's going to intimidate them or disturb them or derail them from their effort.
Very interesting. So then you start with this rather lengthy questionnaire. 160-some questions?
15, 20 minutes.
Okay. And what do you want to know?
I want to know what their current nutrition is. I want to know how profound their struggle is with food cravings, drive to overeat, carbohydrate difficulty. Are they an emotional eater? Do they tend to binge? Do they tend to be hypoglycemic or suffer from bouts of low blood sugar? What's their fatigue level like? Many people are incredibly fatigued today, just dragging themselves through the day. And depression is also an issue. I learned to look at this as a psychotherapist. And interestingly enough, I also, part of this, the method to the madness to this evaluation is I do a follow-up at 2 weeks. It's a way that I hold my feet to the fire and also show them the profound progress. I show a 50 to 75% decrease in all those parameters. Food cravings, drive to overeat, emotional eating, tendency to binge, fatigue, and depressive tendency in 10 days, 2 weeks.
Fatigue, where does that come into play?
I'm not sure what you're asking.
When you say fatigue, people who are fatigued, why is that critical?
Important?
Yeah.
Who's going to want to go out and exercise or feel like exercising if they're fatigued, dragging themselves through the day?
Okay, I understand that. All right. Good enough. So once you've done that, then you go over that, analyze it, and customize your approach, I presume.
Right. Well, I sit down with them and I take them through, in an hour-and-a-half session, I take them through the report that is generated by that software, and they leave that hour-and-a-half session with a starting place. And I call that my program. It's my program at that point. But it's designed to get them very close to the money so that they get a profound physiological response. They start feeling better, their food cravings and drive to overeat abate. So once they no longer have food cravings, then that diminishes their difficulty pretty significantly, right?
Is it really mind control for someone who's just hungry and wants to have something to eat?
It's interesting that you bring that up, Doug. The only place that overeating or binge eating or compulsive eating is defined for diagnostic purposes is in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Psychiatric Disorders, called binge eating disorder.
Okay.
Interestingly, and it took me a long time to figure this out through years of practice and work with hundreds and hundreds of clients, that there's a very profound, significant biological, biochemical component based on, in response to what we consume nutritionally. And if you look in the research in the right places, you'll see a pattern that says food cravings and satiety or a sense of fullness is related to a condition called hyperinsulinemia, which is a high level of insulin in the blood in response to a diet that's too high in starchy and sweet foods. So the researchers have seen this.
Well, that's pretty fascinating indeed. So you really begin to see some progress in as short as 10 days then, huh?
Big relief in
Big relief.
10 days. And then the game becomes to solidify that, to make sure that the client learns what they need to learn and develops what they need to develop so that they can sustain something pretty close to that.
And you do this without any kind of pills or potions or anything like that to kill appetite?
Absolutely not.
Nothing like that?
Nothing
right?
like that.
Those
Nothing.
things
Just
don't work.
high quality nutrition.
Okay.
But built to meet the client's needs. I work with, if someone tells me they hate to cook, I'm not telling them they have to go cook.
Sure.
I'll work with their need for convenience.
In essence, and I know we point out you do work with groups, and we'll get into that in a minute, but these people who you work with individually, how often do you work with them? Is it like, do you have a weekly session with them?
Yes.
Is that basically it?
Early on, for the average client, first 3 to 4 months, I meet with them on a weekly basis in a half-hour session. And it could be in my office, or it could be by phone across the country.
The real key question, let me just put it to you.
Cut to the chase.
How successful are you in getting these people to control their weight?
If someone digs in with me and will complete the treatment process, 80–90% of them will sustain the weight that they lose.
And keep it off.
And keep it off. That's the game. That's the only viable measure of success, is how much weight is kept off over time.
Okay, very interesting. We'll be back to look at how he works with groups and some more interesting pointers on this whole subject of weight and nutrition control. We'll do that in just a moment.
We have been watching the operations of an organization which is doing its part to keep America strong, and we've been learning from its leaders about what they're doing to help move our country forward. This organization represents companies across our great nation that embody the spirit, dedication, know-how, and can-do attitude which has made America the great nation it is today. And now let's present the Keeping America Strong Award.
Now it's my honor to present this prestigious award to Gary Avignon, the president of MindfulWeigh Psychology and Nutrition of Austin, Texas, for the outstanding work he is doing to help keep America strong. Gary, it's a real pleasure to give this to you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to receive it, and it's an honor to be here on Heartbeat of America. I would like to say thanks to all the clients over the years who have entrusted me with this very sensitive, very critical part of their lives. Without them, this work would be impossible.
Well, it's, again, a real pleasure to give it to you. Congratulations, Gary.
Thank you so much.
You're a good guy.
Congratulations for earning the Keeping America Strong Award, which honors innovators and leaders like you who are the heartbeat of America.
For more information on Gary's services, you can find it on the web. His web address is MindfulWeigh.com, and Weigh is spelled W-E-I-G-H, MindfulWeigh.com.
I'm William Shatner. Thanks for watching.